I'm going to call in spirit and then I hand over to Fricka. We just close our eyes and welcome everybody. And as we take a few deep breaths, we're just calling in the spirits of the east, the west, the south and the north, calling in the fires, the water, the earth and the air, honoring the ground we stand upon, honoring nature and all its spirits, and all life that shares this planet with us, the plants, the trees, the animals, the rock people. We call upon all the seen and unseen forces that mean well with us to support us in the work we do. Upon our ancestors who gave us life. And while we call the ancestors who mean well with us, we honor you. And we call upon Great Spirit who has many names and many forms and is in all of us as we are in him and her. And pray that whatever we do, whatever we create and whatever we achieve is for the highest good of all of life. Aho. Connecting to the above and the below. As we open our eyes. And those of you who have brought a candle, I'm not sure if it went out. Shall we light that now? Mine is on my altar, sorry. Hi, Dawn. Claire, have you got a candle? Ah, perfection. And let's just imagine and intend that we let our light shine and use the energy to contribute to the creation of a sustainable world for all of life. And we let it burn until we blow it out at the end. So, good evening, everybody, and I'm passing over to Fricka, who will facilitate this evening, and Fricka can say a bit about herself first, and then what we will do in the next hour before we close. So I'm muting myself.
For how long? I first would like to thank Sacred Earth Activism for having me and for giving me the opportunity to offer my community connection. I'm Fricka Asraas. I'm from the Netherlands. I consider myself to be an earth activist. I'm the founder of the Flame of Frizz, which is a peace project, started as a peace project, hidden initiative for peace, but more and more activism, earth activism is part of our rituals. I joined Extinction Rebellion 3 years ago, more or less 3 years ago, but due to my disability, somehow that is not working the way I would like to be. So I'm very glad that I found Sacred Earth Activism and I can be part of rebellion in this way. I would like to start to ask all of you, I don't know who have been on the ground or being part of the space holding online, if you would like to say briefly what your experience has been with the online rituals or with the on the ground. Anybody would like to start?
Would you like to have volunteers or go around the screen? Volunteer?
If you would like to start, we can go around.
Okay. So I have been both. I was up in London, but also held space. I'm always excited about the rebellion, and I'm always exhausted afterwards. It's the same pattern every time. Yes, I felt the rebellion up in London was very powerful. There were 8,000 people there on the first day, and it was powerful. But I felt this time the community feeling wasn't as strong as it usually was. Certain elements were missing. There was no opening ceremony. There was no food around this time because we moved a lot. And I felt that Sacred Earth Activism actually held a very good space in Hyde Park. I hope we are getting bigger with that next year. I was grateful for everybody who contributed to the space holding here. Yeah, so I thought both was really necessary. That's me done. But I was excited in London. I loved it.
Thank you. Who would like to be next? Claire, please.
So I went to London for the last few days of the rebellion, and I had, I'd done the new moon water ceremony, so I took water up with me and helped to hold the space at the well at the fountain, and I held a session as well while I was there. I facilitated a process where we took physical steps forwards towards our vision of the fossil fuel free future, and that was quite magical. I enjoyed doing that. I kind of agree with Krista that So there was no closing ceremony either, although it was billed. So I feel like we kind of, we filled an important role there, because without the water ceremony, then that would have been very much missing. Yeah, I think that's me. Yeah, me done. I found food though. I make sure I know where the Hare Krishnas are. I make sure I always get fed.
Yes, the food was there from the Hare Krishna, but not ex Arna. So yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I think that's the deal, because of
I know.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Christine?
So I was part of the holding group away from London and did the new moon ceremony, the dispatcho ceremony, and the closing ceremony. But in between that, made sure that I did a visioning every day. And also, if I couldn't visit the place where I collected my water from on any particular day, went to a place of water, even if it was the pond in my garden. But it felt quite important. And as part of that sort of ritual, made sure that I sent out the intention to connect when the rebellion was on, the week that the rebellion was on, sent out the intention to connect with the people in London and to support them. And I found it interesting, as with visioning for a short while every day, how that vision developed. So I really felt, for the first time, because I'm not somebody who would go out in public for various reasons, but it's not something that I could see myself doing now. And this is the first time that I've actually felt part of doing something positive. And that was my overall feeling, that I was actually being active, and valued that. Thank you.
Thank you. Marie?
Yeah, I want to agree with Christine there. That is the online holding group, and the I didn't make it to the dispatcher, obviously, because I was away, but I managed to be at the beginning and at the end ceremony here in the holding group, and in between even. I mean, it's a very good place to be when you're not able to be physically somewhere, I think. And I think also that, I mean, it still ripples out, you know, the energy is still there, and the intentions are there, and even the visioning helps to keep the energy up, I think. I did not do everyday visioning like you did, Christine, but kind of doing a prayer in the morning, in the evening sort of thing, you know, just giving it a bit of a thought in the morning and in the evening, just to acknowledge it, sort of, and be there and give the intention. I think that is a good thing. And so if you cannot be there physically, I think it's the next best thing, really, and for that I'm actually grateful.
Thank you. Dawn, would you like to add something?
Hello. Yes, through the year, I've been so thankful for this community, the group, and being part of it. I haven't been active since 2016, not with other, you know, anything I believe in. You know, I mean, I've often through my years been outside Downing Street. And, but yes, it's been online, and I've been so thankful because I've gained knowledge, wisdom, and I felt very much part of this community. And also through the time, all through the conferences, it's been about bringing, not just about protest, or it's just been, what I liked was the balance of the two, the spiritual side, and what, for me, I have to work from what's in my heart. And even though, of course, the future, no, I don't know the future, but it's what I can do right now that's going to make a change. And what I can do in my everyday life, and simplicity for me enables me to make the changes. And if it gets too complicated or too far in the future, I lose, you know, I feel, I just lose myself. So by bringing it back to what's in my heart and what I can do. And for me, it's, you know, this has been important, because I cannot be active, but by holding space here, visioning and holding the light, and also gaining knowledge for the changes to make. Because for me, I feel it lies in the next generation to take care of this planet in, you know, in a better than maybe we're doing at the present. So for there, that's where it starts, you know, in the next generation. So that's why I feel about it. But yeah, I feel very much, I don't know where it's going or what, but I just only know that my part in it, and to come together with others, with many others, is for me the way forward to make change. If you can understand, I'm not very good with words online. I still get Zoom anxiety, unfortunately, and I just grasp at the words that's the nearest, you know, what I'm really trying to say. But yes, that's what I feel. And but yeah, I have much gratitude to you all for all what you've been holding, and I felt very much a part. And it also empowers me. So what I can do to help, I honour the elements in a different way than I did. It's more stronger inside my heart, and to take care of Mother Earth, which is in now. I wake up to it, I appreciate it, and you know, I think, what can I do that will join with others that will make these bigger changes? So thank you all.
Thank you. Yeah, it's special to me. I just recently joined Sacred Earth Activism, and it feels like a community, and it feels the how to say that in English, that spirituality and rising up on the street are coming together for me. And although the rising on the street is not that I can't do that, not that much, or hardly anything, I can make my contribution. And in this way, to support the rebellion and to support Extinction Rebellion is important. And to be part of the community, indeed. Okay, I'm going to see if he is one to leave. That makes it a little bit easier for me. I made what I call the community connection. I made it for Extinction Rebellion in the Netherlands, and I work a lot in my shamanic and other ceremonies with quartz. So I made a quartz in the colors of extinction, the green and black, and I asked you to bring some yarn in these two colors. And if you have anything wish, you can also make it later, because I do believe that it's something you can actually really take in your hands. And it's a way to if you need extinction as the community, it can be any minute, it can be during the rebellion, it can be before or after the rebellion, or at any moment within, you know, working on activism or taking care of the earth. when you need to connect, you need strength or whatever you need. If you take the cord in your hand, because the cord is a symbol for Extinction Rebellion as the community. I would like to invite you on a guided meditation, which I call community connection. So if you want to close your eyes, sit in a comfortable way, feel where your body is in contact with the ground, with the earth, whether it's a chair or your feet on the ground. Take a deep breath in and out. In and out. And let all daily thoughts be. Welcome to our community connection. A moment of calm. You only need your imagination to tap into the love, liveliness, strength and shelter, playfulness, creativity and comfort our community could offer. At any moment and wherever you are in your mind, you could connect for refreshment, empowerment, relaxation. Envision we are standing on a clearing in a forest. Smell the scents of the place where we are. Look around and see the colors of the trees and the soil beneath your feet. Hear the birds singing and the leaves rustling. Feel the warmth of the sun on your face. We are standing hand in hand in a circle with many earth activists and rebels, connected by a green-black cord. Our circle is so huge that we embrace the planet. A fire is burning in our midst. A sacred fire. You are welcome to seek support, to offer support, or both. Envision Extinction Rebellion to be an immense web. All rebels, all groups, all circles, all gatherings, all actions, all over the planet are threads in this web through which we are connected. You could invite other activists and rebels in spirit to this place of comfort and connection. Rebels who might need to reconnect. Activists who might need strength and stamina, inspiration or kindness. You could invite them in spirit to offer them healing and harmony, company and care. Envision all burdens from rebellion to flow into the fire. The flames consuming the weight, transforming it and returning to ash, rage, love, endurance, laughter, creativity. If you feel the need, let all maybe overwhelming feelings like fear, fatigue, helplessness and hurt, guilt or grief flow into the fire, becoming fuel, lighting up the flames. The magic of fire transforms troubles into fuel, from fuel into flames, from flames into a smoke of healing, of care and calmness, persistence and peace of mind, warmth and well-being. Wind wraps the smoke of healing around you like an embrace, to fuel our passion to fight for the earth, to fuel our desire to commit to climate justice, to social justice, and intergenerational justice. Know that you can return to this place anytime you feel the need. And slowly open your eyes again. Tomorrow is the 22nd of April, World Earth Day. And I would like to honor the community of the world around us. Because our community is way bigger than human beings. Deep, interconnected web of life. Things come and go, yet they could not do so without each other. Rivers and rills, our relatives. Oceans and seas are kissing kin. Creeks and coral reefs are our clan. Springs and shallows are siblings. Rocks and heaths are relatives. Forests and fields are kissing kin. Canyons and cliffs are our clan. Swamps and savannas are siblings. Rosemary and red clover are relatives. Birch and beech are kissing kin. Holly and honeysuckle are our clan. Bolete and cloud fungus are siblings. Rhinoceros and rabbits are our relatives. Koalas and kangaroos are kissing kin. Coyotes and camels are our clan. Snakes and squirrels are siblings. Ravens and rails are our relatives. Parrots and pelicans are kissing kin. Condors and cranes are our clan. Storks and seagulls are siblings. Roach and ladybirds are our relatives. Bees and butterflies are kissing kin. Caterpillar and crickets are our clan. Spiders and earthworms are our siblings. Whales and whitings are our relatives. Octopus and plankton are kissing kin. Dolphins and crabs are our clan. Shells and sharks are our siblings. Ancestors, please teach us the language of old, so we may learn to listen to all our relatives. Hail to all our kissing kin. Hail to Mother Earth. Now the theme of all the online ceremonies and on the ground was or is our visions of a world beyond fossil fuels. So I would like to invite you to say a few words about your visions of a world beyond fossil fuels. I would like to start. Dawn, please.
I did have a vision of myself in a boat, and there was steam everywhere. Steam was coming up from the water. It was in front of me. I haven't yet processed what that actually means, but it was just something that was really strong. And I just stayed there with it. And my connection to the ancestors has been much stronger this past year. And there, I mean, my grandmother passed in 2016, was 90, coming up to 96, and she was worried about the planet. And even then, her concerns of what was happening. So I carry that with me, and I think the connection of the ancestors, because of, you know, what is happening, and for the future. So yeah, that was the strong vision I wanted to share with you. So thank you.
Thank you. Krista?
I can go next. I had the first time I did some visioning around the subject. I had two things. I had masses of trees. It's just trees. And the other thing was kind of a lot of light. And just light. And like Dawn, I don't know what it is. And I don't bother usually, because it's another level of reality. So I'm just acknowledge what comes. But the second time was really quite, for me, quite touching, because it felt like we need community. One of the things when we come off this, whatever this is, it's not just fossil fuel, it's the whole thing we are doing of consumption and entertainment and mind-numbing stuff. It was community, and that was massive within me, absolutely massive. And even if I won't live long enough to see that change, I mean, I wish it for my children, for my grandchildren, just this idea to be embedded in something again, and embedded in something we can create. It's something where we can bring ourselves in, but is bigger than ourselves, and that is, for me, is just the most important thing of what the most important ingredient of that future world is to just come together again, and to just beyond all the crap which is out there, where we just can be and create together, and bring ourselves into something which works towards something we all agree on in a very wide sense, to make this a place where our consciousness can just wiser level. That's kind of, for me, was the most touching thing about it. And I felt in a very small way, in a very small way, the circle in London, the Sacred Earth Activism Circle, did that in a tiny little way, but it did that. It provided that space to start forming a community. So that was the most important one for me.
Thank you. Anybody else? Claire, please.
So the thing I've been with, the prayer that comes that I've that's been developing, is about our gifts and talents, and about being able to be supported to freely express them, and like free of the rat race, really, which which traps so many people in pointless jobs. Vision a future where we're free of that, and everybody can develop what's inside them and put it to use for the good of the whole. And I think what Krista said at the end there about experiencing that, I guess I experienced it personally, like on my journey to London, and being able to go and do my thing to offer a session at the fountain, like I'm kind of embodying that prayer. That's all.
Christine.
In the visionings that I did, I kept being shown the earth renewing. So where there was desolation, there was now life. But one of the things, and it was only after I did the closing ceremony, when I reflected on all the visions, there was no humans. There was plenty of trees and vegetation and clean rivers and fish and sea life, but in all the visioning that I did, there wasn't another human being. And that sort of has hit home a bit. So much of my visioning wasn't really on the here and what can I do on the here and now. It was show me the world beyond, and that's what kept coming. One of the other things that particularly struck me was that I experienced being a fish in a stream and being hit on the head with a plastic bottle, and the recognition that whatever we do, it's going to be there for a while. And what was really strange, well, it wasn't strange because these things happen, don't they? But when I went to my water, there's a pool nearby, and here was the bottle bobbing around in the water. On a more positive note, what came, and it was something as well that David Attenborough said tonight, was that when we look at life beyond fossil fuel, and we have to look at energy and where we're going to get our energy from, that actually there's more out there than what we know now. So that, you know, looking at a technology that doesn't ruin the earth but works with it, but actually we're not aware at the moment of what that is, but there are things out there. And one of the things that struck me about David Attenborough speaking tonight was that he was saying about how the whales in particular had come back from almost extinction, and how much the animals and sort of the other life that inhabit this planet can show us how we can regenerate. And I thought that was lovely, and that sort of summed up, I think, some of what I'd been experiencing over the last fortnight, that there are ways to regenerate, if only we tap into and start listening to what's around us instead of thinking we know better.
Thank you.
Well, I suppose that leaves me then. Yeah, I can't say really much because I kept thinking, what does it even mean beyond fossil fuels? And that leads again to where does the energy come from? But what I keep thinking is that where we go to, we always try to keep the status quo, our comfort, our comforts, everything as it is, and changing the use of energy to something else. And I think that's kind of the problem, because nobody wants to reduce their consumption and, tread lighter, I think, and that's what we have to do. And yeah, and in my vision, there's always this, and I had it for a long time, even before all this and the visioning, this coming together of water and earth, mainly for me. I mean, of course, there's fire, there's air, and spirit, but the spirit is everywhere anyways. But this togetherness of earth and water somehow always comes up for me. And I do not know yet what to do with that, because it also shows in the animals that show up. It's always the ones that are in the woods, on the earth, and the ones that are in the water. So there's always this combination. And interestingly, never birds. It's always bears and wolves and foxes and whales and herring. I mean, so it's very strange in that, really, this combination. But again, interestingly, what Christine said too, no humans. And that's an interesting aspect, I think. I really need to think about that. Yeah, and feel into this. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, Krista, it would be lovely if you can show some images from the ceremonial space in London.
As there are only a few, well, some of you will have seen that, and if I would have known that I would have put a bit of effort in and added a few pictures. But those of you who haven't been in London, for the closing, I put on the quick a few pictures into a slideshow. So if I'm opening that, and perfect. Okay, so that was just the first day on the march. There are lots of people there. So this was the opening of the Sacred Earth Activism space. So there's this beautiful lake, as you know, down near the memorial, and we had the honor of having some of the water activists joining us. And so this was the opening of the space, the cauldron here in the middle. And we called in spirit, and we just poured the waters into the cauldron. And we did a few more things. We sung a few songs and so on. There's Ali, you might remember Ali. And the water people kind of, once the water was in, the water rebels blessed it. So it was very moving. Then we took the cauldron over to the memorial, so into the memorial space, and we had asked people to bring flowers, and so we made a flower circle and we decorated it a bit. This is how it looked later on. And you can see here in the background the memorial. I'll think I have a better picture of it. And then things started to happen. I mean, there was a program, different people, as Claire said. I mean, she was there towards the end of the week when I had already left. Claire was there, and people just dropped in and out and held ceremonies and did things. Some was scheduled and some wasn't. This was a group of youngsters which showed up, I think, on the Thursday, and they each put a petal into the pot. This is Jen. She did Buddhist ceremony and also the work that reconnects. We're hanging out here. This is Sol and myself doing quite a lot of songs and a bit of drumming and stuff. And so there was always a kind of a group around, not masses of people, but they drifted in and out, and it was such a wonderful space. And then on the Tuesday, we had the Red Rebels coming, and they came in. You can see it at the bottom picture, and then they also blessed the water, and they stayed around for a while. And that was a moment when we were, quite a few of us, in tears, because the grief comes kind of up with the Red Rebels coming round. Here they are again. We quickly removed everything so that they could have a clean and clear space, and it was a beautiful, beautiful moment. This was from another workshop. I don't remember who did it. I wasn't there. Jonathan would know more about it. And they made peace offerings also there. And again, just the hanging out, singing songs, chatting to people was a big one. So you can see here behind it, at the end of the picture, you can see this is those of you who don't know the Diana Memorial Fountain, it's absolutely stunning. It's a waterway which goes all around in a circle, and the water is pumped round and round and round. And the beauty of it is that it's open, and especially the children use it a lot. I mean, the kids are constantly in there with their socks and shoes off and having a good time. Now, this is a nice picture because you can see the plastic water bottle. Because, of course, in the evening, and this is Jonathan, I mean, I'm forever grateful. We all are forever grateful for him. He brought his car up, and we got a car parking space at a nearby church, which we could use the whole week. And so in the evening, we needed to take all of this back to the car park. So we filled the water into the bottle, and then in the morning, ceremonially with the open ceremony, we filled it back into the cauldron. another ceremony going on. I wasn't there. And this is now the closing ceremony, so that's it. So on the, well, Claire can tell us more about it. Were you at the closing ceremony, Claire? Can you unmute?
Yeah, I'm I can see
So I
myself.
wasn't there. So the basically the cauldron, then I pass over to you, Claire. The cauldron with the water and the petals in it was put on a decorated bicycle and it went with the march. And I have pictures of it, but not here. All the way with the closing, with the last march. And then after the march, later in the evening, we did a closing ceremony at the Thames, and I'm passing over to Claire. What happened, Claire?
Well, we gathered in circle and Jonathan spoke and he told the story of the water because, you know, there were all different people there, people who'd been involved and people who'd just, you know, turned up because water ceremony was on the programme. So yeah, he spoke the story of the week and the journey of the water. And then Ali brought round, she had some roses and she came round and we all took a petal and we held the petals to our hearts, and it was a chance for us to kind of just drop a bit deeper and see if there was a bit more to our visions and prayers. And then in turn we walked to the cauldron and give that last bit to the water. And we'd sung some songs before this, and then as we were doing our thing with the petals, some music started up in one of the bars, and there was a singer, and they were singing "It's a Wonderful World." It was so beautiful, and just like perfectly synchronized. Like as we completed our bit, then she finished singing, and Jonathan and I can't remember the woman's name, but they
Kitty.
Jonathan and Kitty, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's just as the music finished, and then in silence they walked into the water and gave the water to the Thames, and very beautiful because it had all the flower petals in, so then we could, they didn't, I imagine they were going to flow away, but I think the tide was at its still point because the moon was just coming up and it coincided with the low tide, so that's why we had the beach and the water still, so we could just see all of the petals there in the water, and the energy from the from the flowers felt so lovely. Yeah, it was great.
Thank you very much. So that was a wonderful closing of the space, and there is the thing again, and here we are at the beginning, and I stopped the share. That's just to give you an impression. Thanks, Claire. It was on the whole magical. As you said, it's kind of, it all came together, the holdings here on Zoom, plus in London, and we are already kind of mucking about very gently with how to do that in September on a bigger scale. We will see how it develops, but it's, yeah, thank you. I thought I'd show you in case you haven't seen them.
Thank you for showing. That brings us to the closing of this evening. We are weaving a worldwide web with patterns of peace and plenty. We tell our tales of times to come. We spark and sustain a spirit of creative rebellion. We create a culture which is healthy, resilient, and adaptable. We leave our comfort zones to take action for change. May it open hearts and minds, and may it build bridges between peoples. Together, we enable everyone's voice. Together, we may compassion, kindness, creativity, generosity, playfulness, and solidarity flourish forever. We vision a world beyond fossil fuels, a thriving planet with flowery meadows, verdant forests, flourishing wetlands, and fresh and fertile waters. May our thoughts and deeds be a loving contribution for the earth and all living beings. May our thoughts and deeds be a loving contribution to generations yet to come. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you, Fricke. I might ask you if I can use this for the website of Sacred Earth Activism. That was beautiful. That was so touching. Do you want me to close, or does anybody want to say anything before we close? Okay.
Mhm.
Marie.
Yeah, I think I need to say this. I feel very moved actually, and the mention of singing when the waters were released to the Thames, singing, what a beautiful world, you know. That gave me the chills really. And I mean, I think that's something we shouldn't forget, that it is still a beautiful world beyond all the problems there. And I think that's the one thing that maybe keeps up the spirits, and that's worth all the efforts, really. That's a beautiful world. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Marie. Anybody else? Yeah, Claire, go for it.
Just feeling really glad that I showed up and was able to share that bit. Yeah, I could nearly have not have done. So yeah, thank you for the space to share.
Thanks, Claire. I want to say something as well. I mean, I was not just at Sacred Earth Activism. Like you, Claire, I was also in the middle of the action. I was stewarding, and we were the first one onto the bridge, which we held, and I came to XR via action, and I love direct action, and I think for me, I also love being the co-founder of Sacred Earth Activism, because I also am very spiritual and have always worked spiritually, and to bring this together, I mean, for me, this is just what it is about. And this acknowledging that we each can do our little bit. You know, are we doing it from home, and we're doing a ceremony, and Christine went every morning. I mean, I was flabbergasted, you know, when I heard your account, you know, and that we each can do our bit. I mean, I felt that just together being six this evening, so heartwarming, how we each do our little bit. And that's what it is. As Fricka said, it's weaving that web, isn't it? It's weaving that web. And we can't do more. The rest is not in our hands. We just have to keep weaving. Yeah. And I also wanted to say something to the beauty. This I find is with ceremony, isn't it, Marie? It is that it recognizes that beauty. I mean, that cauldron with all those petals. This is not despair. This is creative beauty at its finest, which comes from the earth. Yeah, it's lovely. Right, anybody else before we close? Frigga, anything? You've said enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So then I really want to thank, before we do the spiritual side, first and foremost, Frigga. It's thank you for stepping forward to running this evening. It definitely touched me, and I think it touched everybody, and there's so much heart in it. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's another thing about Sacred Earth activism, you know, we want people to come forward and do these kind of things because we all have something to contribute, even if it's small, to that web. It's beautiful. Thank you so much, Frigga. I'm really kind of touched at the moment. So we're going to close, and I'll just do a quick thank you to Spirit, and then we blow out our candles together. Yeah? So do that first. Frigga, can I mute you? Can I be brutal and mute you? I have done it. The power of the host. Okay. And just by taking a deep breath and centering for another moment, we thank all the elements, all the living beings, the earth we stand upon. We thank all the seen and unseen forces who are with us, whether we are aware of them or not. We thank our ancestors who gave us life. We give thanks for all the teaching from all the beings. We feel for a moment a kind of honoring, an honoring of that web of life that is so much bigger, so much deeper, so much wider, so much more sacred than we can grasp with our minds, bigger than we can grasp with our hearts. Sacred in a way which we hopefully at one point in our evolution begin to glimpse more often, more regularly, and more deeply. I also want this evening to thank all the people, all the people on this planet who try to the best of their ability to make a contribution to this much necessary change. And I feel really quite deeply, and I don't know if you do, to acknowledge every single one of them and pray that they all understand that they're doing what they can on whatever level they can. And that they really understand that they are each and every single one of them and us is a little part of that web that hopefully will contribute to something, to a future that is more supportive of all of life on this planet and beyond. Aho. I think we should unmute ourselves. I always say that. Can we unmute?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could sing, but it sounds
Yeah.
usually awful.
Terrible voice.
What a wonderful world.
Indeed. Yes.
Hail to the earth and hail to all of you.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. If everybody wants to say something, feel free. Marie,
Beauty.
Christine,
Gratitude.
Claire,
Aho.
Aho, Dawn,
Thankful.
ah. Okay, let's blow this beauty, thankfulness, aho-ness, gratitude, and wonderful world out there. Bye, everybody. Thanks, Frigga. Thanks, Marie.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you
Christine.
so
Thanks,
much.
Claire.
You.
Thank you.
Thanks to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.